Hello, are you in year 7, year 6, or year 5, and you're struggling with algebra? Then this video is for you. Welcome to Titostutor Your Math Pedagogue. In today's video, we're going to be doing algebra from scratch. Fundamentals of algebra. Directed algebraic terms. Remember that in algebra, we represent unknown numbers with letter. So that unknown number you're representing, it could be fraction, it could be whole numbers, it could be positive or even negative numbers. So when we talk about positive and negative numbers, then we talk of directed algebraic terms. Is either your algebraic term is positive or it is negative. And directed numbers are numbers with direction on our number line. So if your numbers are to the left of 0, then they are negative numbers. But if they are to the right of 0, then they are positive numbers. And that also applies in algebra. So let's take examples of algebraic terms and what they mean. So here are examples of algebraic terms. If I say 5a, it actually means 5 multiplied by a. If I say negative 5a, it actually means negative 5 multiplied by a. If I say a over 5 or 1/5 of a, it actually means a divided by 5. If I say a all over negative 5, it means a divided by negative 5. So these are algebraic terms and how to actually break them down. Okay, so now let's dive into the rules of simplifying algebraic expressions. The first rule is for us all to know that we often multiply algebraic terms and numbers together. So if I have 4 times negative 3x, you know negative 3x is an algebraic term, which means negative 3 times x. But it's being multiplied by 4. So it is a rule in simplification of algebraic terms that you can multiply the 4 with the negative 3x and multiply it with x. So you have 4 times negative 3 times x. So that the 4 and the negative 3 multiplies each other. A positive number multiplying a negative number gives you a negative answer. Directed numbers. So 4 times negative 3 is negative 12 multiplied by x to give us negative 12x. So in simplifying algebraic terms, you can multiply numbers with algebraic terms. In simplifying algebraic expressions, you can multiply numbers with algebraic terms. That's the first rule of simplifying algebraic expressions. All right, so here is our rule number 2. Division with directed numbers is also possible. So for example, if you have 18a divided by negative 6, you see, negative 6 is a whole number, is a negative number, and you're dividing it with algebraic term, which is 18a. So it can actually be 18 multiplied by a all over negative 6. So that 18 will be divided by negative 6 to give you negative 3, and you multiply it with a. So it is negative 3a. So you now know that algebraic terms can be divided by a positive or negative whole numbers. That's our second rule. Here's our rule number 3. Algebraic terms cannot be added or subtracted to or from whole numbers, as the case may be. It can't. If you have a whole number added to an algebraic term, it cannot be simplified. If you have an algebraic term and you want to subtract a whole number from it, it is also not possible. So our third rule says that you cannot add to algebraic term and you cannot subtract from algebraic terms. You can only do that when your variables, which is your letters, are the same. So we say they are like terms. But from whole numbers, you can't. Okay? So look at a solved example. It says negative 3a plus 6. It is not equal to negative 3 plus 6 times a. No, that's a common mistake some people make. Please don't make that mistake. So you can't say 6 minus 3 is 3 and you multiply that by a and you now get a final answer 3a. No, not done, right? So negative 3a plus 6 remains negative 3a plus 6. It cannot be simplified. So now let's go into some worked examples so you can see how to simplify algebraic expressions. So here are worked example. First example, negative 5 times 2x. This is the same as negative 5 times 2 times y. Negative 5 times 2 times y is 10y. But with a negative. Yeah, don't forget that, because a negative number multiplying a positive number gives you a negative answer. So minus 5 times 2 is minus 10. Multiplied by y is simply minus 10y. Here's our second example. It's negative 6 multiplied by negative 4x. Okay? So in this case, what you do is this. You do negative 6 multiplied by negative 4 multiplied by x. So my x does not look like multiplication sign. I usually write it with two c's backing each other. So it doesn't look like multiplication sign. Okay? So negative 6 multiplied by negative 4. Two negative numbers multiplying each other gives you a positive answer. So negative 6 times negative 4 is positive 24 multiplied by x. Because it is positive 24, you don't need to write the positive. Numbers without sign are all positive numbers. So my final answer is 24x and I'm done. Okay? Let's go to the third example. Worked example number 3. And it is negative 3a multiplied by 7. So the rule says you can multiply it with whole numbers. So this is negative 3 times a times 7. So these two can actually multiply each other, right? And that gives you what? Negative 21. Negative 21 multiplied by a is the same as negative 21a. And you are done. Worked example number 4. Worked example number 4 is 4y multiplied by negative 5. Okay? So in this case, you see your 4 and negative 5 can actually multiply each other to give you negative 20. And you multiply that by y to give you final answer as negative 20y. And you are done. Let's do a few more worked examples so we are fully clear on how to simplify algebraic expressions. Okay, so Worked example number 5 is negative 3a multiplying negative 6b this time around. So in this case, we have negative 3 multiplied by a, multiplied by negative 6, and multiplied by b. So I have negative 3 multiplied by negative 6 multiplied by a multiplied by b. So two negative numbers multiplying each other will give me a positive answer. So in this case, it is positive 18 multiplied by a and multiplied by b. This can actually stand side by side, because in algebra, when you have 18 with letters standing side by side, actually means multiplication. So this is 18 times a times b, written in a simplified form as 18ab. Final answer. Another worked example, which is example 6, is now in division. In this case, is negative 14a divided by 7. So we can have negative 14 multiplied by a all over 7. And this is same as negative 14 divided by 7 multiplied by a. A negative number dividing by a positive number is going to give you a negative answer. So 14 divided by 7 is 2. Negative 14 divided by 7 is negative 2. Multiply by a to give you a final answer, negative 2a. And you are done. Okay, this is my last work example for this video. So if you're still watching till now, I want to say a big thank you to you. Thank you for sticking by. Please watch this video to the end. Like this video, share with anyone you think may need it, and also turn on my notification so that you don't miss any math video from me. Thank you. All right, so let's complete this work example. The first one, the last example, which is example 7, it says negative 1 over 3. Of in math means multiplication, right? So I have negative 1 over 3, which is fraction, multiplied by 36 times x times another x. Expanded, okay? So you know this is multiplication of fraction. So that means I can divide diagonally. That's what it means. So 3 here 1, 3 here is 12. But is multiplying a negative fraction. So you're going to get a negative answer. So here you have negative 12 multiplied by x multiplied by another x, which is negative 12 x raised to the power of 2. Final answer, negative 12 square. Substitution in algebra. In algebra, letters stand for numbers. We all know that, right? If you've been watching my channel, you know that algebra is dear to me, and I always say it. In algebra, letters stand for unknown numbers. It is also possible to substitute values for letters. Just as in soccer, the manager can decide to substitute a player number 4 with another player of number 23. So substitution is removing and replacing. You remove and you replace. So in algebra, we can substitute a value such as 8 for an unknown x. So this is the introduction to substitution in algebra. Without wasting time, let's dig into worked examples. Our first example for today is, what is the value of the expression p minus q all over p when p is negative 5 and q is positive 10? I'm going to write that expression again. Is p minus q all over p. So in place of p, remove p, throw p away, and put a -5. So here I have -5 minus q is +10. So here is my +10 all over, which is division sign, p. Don't forget, p is -5. So I have all over -5. Okay, so here, look at this. A bracket means multiplication. So a negative is already in my expression and my q is positive. So negative and positive gives you negative. Okay, so I have -5, -10 all over -5. Okay, so that's what I have. And numerator first. So let's go. -5, -10. They're just standing side by side. They are not multiplying each other. So directed number says that two numbers standing side by side with the same sign, you always add and the sign still remains. So -5, -10, the sign still remains because the two signs are the same, right? Then you add the numbers. 10 plus 5 is 15. And this is over 5. Okay? So directed number says that negative divided by negative always gives you a positive answer. If you have issues with your directed numbers with positive and negative signs and how they interact, I would love you to search for our video on directed numbers and watch it. It will be very helpful. Okay, so a negative and a negative dividing each other is positive. So 15 divided by 5 is 3. Final answer is +3. Second worked example. Find the value of x plus z all over x plus y. When x is 4, y is -5, and z is -3. So I'm going to write the expression again. X plus z all over x plus y. In place of x, I put a 4. So this is 4, then plus. In place of z, I put a -3. This is a -3 all over x plus y. In place of x again, I put a 4. There's a plus. In place of y, I put a -5. -5. Okay, so now let's make sure that our bracket is removed, right? So this is 4. Positive and negative gives me -3 all over 4. Positive and negative gives me a -5. So here I have 4 minus 3. 4 is positive, 3 is negative. They have two different signs, so I'll subtract, and my answer takes the sign of the larger number. So because 4 is bigger, my answer for the numerator will be positive. So here I have 4 minus 3 is 1, and it's a positive 1 all over. So see, my denominator is 4 minus 5. 4 is positive, 5 is negative. So I'm going to subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1, but my answer is going to take the sign of the bigger number, and 5 is bigger and 5 is negative, so it will be -1. So final answer, 1 over -1 is -1, and you are done. Example 3. Find the value of y plus 5z all over x. When x is 4, y is -5, and z is -3. Okay, so I'm going to write the expression again. All over x. In place of y, I put a -5. 5. You see, I always put my numbers with negative in brackets so I don't get confused, right? Okay, so I have a plus 5. Z means 5 times Z, but Z is a negative 3 all over my X. X is 4. So I have substituted my numbers for my letters. So it's now time to simplify. Okay, so I'm going to simplify multiplication first. So I have negative 5 plus 5 times a negative 3. Positive multiplied by negative is negative. 5 times 3 is 15 all over 4. Okay, so here I have negative 5 plus and minus gives me minus. Positive and negative gives you negative 15 all over 4. Remember when I told you that two negative signs standing side by side, right? The answer is still negative, and 15 plus 5 is 20 all over 4. Also remember that I said when negative is dividing a positive, your answer is always negative. So 20 divided by 4 is 5. Final answer, negative 5. And you're done. Example 4. Find the value of 4c minus 3b when b is 2. This is 2. When b is 2 and c is 3. I'm going to write the expression again. 4c minus 3b. Anywhere I see c, I put 3. 4c means 4 times c. So this is 4 times 3 minus 3b. Anywhere I see b, I put 2. 3b means 3 times b. So this is 3 times 2. BODMAS, BIDMAS, PEDMAS, as the case may be, says you should multiply before you subtract. So you say 4 times 3 is 12 minus 3 times 2 is 6. 12 minus 6 is 6. And you are done. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. This is our last example for this video. If you're still watching till now, I want to say a big thank you to you for sticking by. Don't forget to like this video, share with anyone you think may need it, subscribe to my channel, turn on your notification so you don't miss any math video from me. Thank you. All right, example 5. Use A is equal to 2, B is equal to negative 8, and X is equal to 3, and Y is equal to negative 5. To find the value of the expression below. So we know our A is 2, B is negative 8, X is 3, and Y is negative 5. So I'm going to substitute directly. Okay, so let's go. This is equal to A is 2 minus, I'm putting this in a bracket so I don't get confused, right? So because I need to sort that out first. 2 times B, and B is negative 8. Okay, all over 3 in a bracket, put X is 3 plus Y is negative 5. Put that in a bracket as well. So I'm clear. Now it's time to simplify. Let's simplify the numerator first. Okay. So here, BIDMAS says you should sort out what is in the bracket first. So you have 2 minus 2 times negative 8 is negative 16, because positive multiplied by negative is negative. Okay, all over denominator 3 here, 3. Okay, here you have positive multiplied by negative is negative 5. You close your brackets. So we're going to be doing it Numerator, denominator, numerator, denominator, and will be good. Okay, so here I have 2 minus multiplied by minus gives you a plus. So this is 2 plus 16 all over. You sort out what is inside the bracket first before you multiply with 3 that is outside. So let's go. 3 in bracket, 3 minus 5. 3 is positive, 5 is negative, so you subtract. But your answer takes the sign of the bigger number. And 5 is bigger and is negative, so I have negative as my answer. But now it's time to subtract. 5 minus 3 is 2. And I close my bracket. Okay, so this will be 2 plus 16 is 18. And 3 multiplied by negative 2. Remember, positive multiplying negative is negative. 3 times 2 is 6. 18 divided by negative 6. Positive dividing a negative is negative. 18 divided by 6 is 3. Final answer, negative 3. So, negative 3 is the answer to this expression that satisfies all the condition given. So this is how to substitute in algebra. Thank you for watching.